With many people scrambling to make ends meet, is Dollar Tree the answer? I went on a mission and found some really awesome new preps at my Dollar Tree. But with all the changes, is Dollar Tree even worth it anymore? Hey guys, it's Jera with Wicked Prepared. Welcome back to the channel. Love it or hate it, most everyone pops into Dollar Tree every once in a while. It can be a great place to get some items for your prepper pantry. When it's been a while since I've been into the Dollar Tree, I love to go hunting for new items. Today, I'm taking you along with me to scope out some new items and see what we can find. Then I'm going to bring some things home and I'm going to test some of the new items and let you know what I think of them and if they're worth picking up at Dollar Tree. You really have to be careful shopping at Dollar Tree these days. Even though it's still called Dollar Tree, almost nothing is $1 anymore. Most items are now $1.25, some sections $1.50, and I actually heard in some areas the base price has gone all the way up to $1.50. And there are even more expensive items spread all throughout the store, all the way up to $5 or maybe even more. What's the most expensive item you've ever seen at a Dollar Tree? Shopping at Dollar Tree just isn't the same experience anymore. You have to look at the price tags and check everything out just like any other store. But let's head in and see if there's any new deals worth grabbing. I always head to the food aisles first when I'm shopping for preps at Dollar Tree. My little store doesn't even have a refrigerated or frozen section, so everything is shelf stable and a candidate for the prepper pantry. The first new item I found that I was pretty excited about are these pasta pouches. Dollar Tree has had pre-cooked pasta pouches for quite some time, but these take it one step further and have the pasta and the sauce all together for a complete meal. They have this tomato basil rotini and this Alfredo penne. There's also another one that's not pasta, it's a Cajun style dirty rice. These pouches are meant to go in the microwave, but they can also be heated in a pan or even eaten at room temperature. Because they're shelf stable, they heat very quickly and they require no water to prepare. They are great for preparedness and would also be great for college students or care packages for the homeless. Also in the pasta section, I found this cavatappi pasta. I love fun pasta shapes, and this is one of my favorites. One thing to note is that this shape comes in a traditional 1-pound box, while the basic Dollar Tree pastas come in 20-ounce bonus size boxes for the same price. There's also a new brand of macaroni and cheese here at Dollar Tree, and this is priced at 75 cents. This Founder Street appears to be maybe a new dollar store brand. I've seen it on canned veggies and things like that for quite a while now, and I'm seeing more and more items pop up in this brand now. In the soup section, I found a few new items. First is this pouch of dry chicken noodle soup mix. So this is kind of along the lines of the Bear Creek soup mixes that are so popular with preppers. And then I also found this Knorr tomato macaroni soup mix. Next, I found some new Campbell's varieties here at Dollar Tree. These spicy classic varieties. Let's see, they've got spicy chicken noodle and spicy tomato here. I've used the spicy tomato in a chili mac meal in a bag that was really good. These spicy soups aren't really new. I've seen them at Walmart for a while, but this is the first that I've seen them at Dollar Tree. I'm actually wondering if maybe they're going to be discontinued and maybe that's why they have them here. But here is a really new soup. I only became aware of this new variety recently online. I've never seen it in the wild, but here it is at Dollar Tree. This cheddar cheesy noodle soup. This looks very interesting. I was also excited to find these tomato bouillon cubes here at Dollar Tree. I've bought jars of this bouillon before, but I've never seen it at Dollar Tree. This is great for things like Mexican rice and dishes like that. This is a great Dollar Tree find. I was also happy to find these quarts of broth. These are also the Founder Street brand. Dollar Tree sells cans of Swanson broth, and they used to sell a different brand of the box quarts like this, but I hadn't seen quarts of broth here for quite some time. So I'm glad to see we can get quarts of broth here again. It's a much better deal than the cans. They had beef, chicken, and vegetable broth at my Dollar Tree. Besides soups, I did also find a few other new canned goods. I found this Yellowstone brand of beans, these brown sugar molasses baked beans. This is a really good brand for Dollar Tree. These are usually over $2.50 at Walmart. I also found another high-end brand, this Annie's tomato soup. You can see this is organic, non-GMO, and all that stuff. I did find out something interesting about this company, Annie's, recently, though. If you want to find out what I learned, I'll link to it down below for you to check out after this video. And then another thing I found here that is another kind of better brand than what you'd think you'd find at Dollar Tree are these Muir Glen organic fire roasted petite diced green tomatoes. I was really surprised to find these at Dollar Tree. I've actually never seen anything like this anywhere. I'm thinking about how I could use these in recipes, maybe in a chicken chili of some sort. Let me know down below if you have any ideas for recipes to use canned diced green tomatoes. I looked around and I was able to find these online at Whole Foods for $2.55, so this is a great deal for $1.25. These Margaret Holmes canned vegetables are not new to Dollar Tree, but the fancy spinach is one that I haven't seen before at my store. I like spinach for the prepper pantry because it's one of the more nutritious canned veggies and it's good to pack in the nutrition. Overall, this brand offers some really good options that are different from what you usually see in canned vegetables. It's also worth noting that even the Great Value brand of canned spinach at Walmart is $1.32, so this is a good value, which is not always the case with canned veggies at Dollar Tree. I also found this new brand of evaporated milk in the canned goods. To be honest, I think I'd seen this here before for a while, but I overlooked it because the brand says the brand name is Sweet Cow, so I actually thought that this was sweetened condensed milk until I got down and looked closer. Next up, in the breakfast area, I found a few new items. I found a new flavor of these instant protein oatmeal cups. The last time I did a Dollar Tree new products haul like this, I found one of these that was banana flavor, and it actually ended up being really good. Today I couldn't find the banana, but I found a new flavor that I hadn't seen before, the strawberry apple cinnamon variety. I'm gonna have to try this. This honey almond granola is also something I've never seen at Dollar Tree before, and it looks pretty good. And oh my goodness, look at this. This is something new. This Nescafe 3-in-1 caramel latte instant coffee mix. I cannot wait to try this. And here's another one. Look at this quick tea instant chai tea latte packets. Another new and exciting item. I also see they now have this Nescafe instant coffee. Of course, this is one of the more expensive items. This is $5, but so many people have told me that they don't like the off-brand of instant coffee that Dollar Tree sells for $1.25, and it's a smaller jar. So this might be worth it for those people. Although it does look like they've changed brands also in the regular $1.25 instant coffee. So maybe this one is better now than what they used to have. Another new drink here in the breakfast section is this yogurt drink. This looks pretty good. It would be a good source of protein and calcium to have as a shelf-stable prepper pantry item, but I do want to point out that it says pasteurized after culturing, which means it's not going to have the live and active cultures that refrigerated yogurt would have. A few more grocery items. I found these Idahoan shredded potato cups in triple cheese flavor. I have found these once at Dollar Tree in the Hidden Valley Ranch flavor, but I haven't seen them in a long time, and I've never found any other flavors here until now. I have bought them at Walmart for almost $3 a pack, so $1.25 is a great deal. These can be a side dish. You just have to add boiling water, but I've also used them to make single-serve meals in a bag for a breakfast bake and a dinner casserole, which both came out really good. This teriyaki sauce is a new brand than what I've ever gotten at Dollar Tree before, and this is another item that I've used for meals in a bag. I've made a teriyaki oven-fried rice that came out really yummy. I also found quite a few new seasonings and mini condiments here at Dollar Tree today. Seasonings are so very important in the prepper pantry to ward off food fatigue. And mini condiments are great because you can use them up quickly, often in a single meal, which can be important when the power's out and you don't have refrigeration. They're also great for meals in a bag. Look at all these new seasonings. Spicy ranch and hot honey seasoning, this buttery steakhouse seasoning, and then this whole line of Tones and Tone Brothers seasonings. And check out these cute teeny tiny Mrs. Dash and Kickin' Chicken seasonings. These may not be the most economical way to buy seasoning, but they sure are cute, and they could be great for packing lunches, for camping trips, for people who don't have a lot of kitchen space like college students and truck drivers, and they also could make cute stocking stuffers for people who are hard to buy for. The same with all of these mini condiments. In the baking section, I noticed this almond cake mix. I have only recently discovered this flavor of cake mix, and I had to buy it online. I'm not sure if it's new, but I'd never seen this flavor before. Never seen it at Dollar Tree, so this was exciting. This is a very yummy cake mix. I also found a few different baking mixes that I hadn't seen before, including this churro mix and a bread pudding mix, which looks really interesting. And look at all these frostings. I have not seen this much variety of frosting at Dollar Tree before. These are smaller tubs than the normal grocery store tubs. Most of these are just different bright colors, but look at these flavors. These really caught my eye. Don't these look good? Coffee and salted caramel. I have a few meal in a bag dessert ideas for these. And look at this, you guys. I have not seen these Lucky Charms marshmallows at Dollar Tree before. I think this is a steal for $1.25. If you have kiddos, dropping a few of these into their cocoa while you're sitting out a winter power outage could totally lighten the mood. I also found these cute little jars of maraschino cherries that I've never seen at Dollar Tree before. And they seem to have a lot more variety of cooking sprays than I've ever seen before, including varieties like coconut oil and olive oil and even grill spray. Now let's talk seasonal items. Yes, there are some seasonal food items. These might not be new to Dollar Tree, but they're items that aren't carried year round, so you need to grab them when you see them if you want them. This time of year, I'm just starting to see things like cranberry sauce and canned yams and sweet potato and yam glaze. Things like this are coming back. Another thing are these cookie mixes, elf cookies, gingerbread cookie mix. These are so cute, and they could also make part of a great little gift for someone. This apple cider muffin mix is another item that I've never seen before that I think might be seasonal. These crispy onions are one of my favorite Dollar Tree items. This little bag is just the right size for topping one casserole, so they're great for meals in a bag. At my store, they don't stock them year-round, but they do get them in about this time of year, so I always stock up. Leaving the food area, this was probably the thing I was most excited about finding on this trip. I couldn't believe they had these little pop-up canisters for only $1.25. Seriously. They have round ones and square ones. Of course, I prefer the square ones because you know how I am about round versus square things and wasted space. The square ones hold 2.75 cups and the round ones hold 2.3 cups. And they also stack. These are like a mini version of my canisters that I use in my kitchen for so many things. Just keep in mind that canisters like these are not going to be a 100% airtight seal. So eventually over time, a little bit of air and moisture can sneak in. So these are not for long-term storage. They're for things in your working pantry, the things that you're actively using. What would you keep in these little canisters? Another area I always like to check when I'm shopping for preps is the first aid and medical supplies. It's kind of hard to navigate what's new in here. Since the price increases, there's quite a few new items with higher price tags, like this lidocaine roll-on for $5 and this Bactine dupe for $4. But I'm really looking for the items that are still $1.25. I did find this Tiger Balm brand of pain-relieving patches, these medicated multi-purpose witch hazel wipes, these silicone scar sheets, and these neat little first aid kits. To be honest, I was more excited about the little tin that they come in than the Band-Aids that are inside. They even have this cute first aid symbol printed on them, so I think they'll be perfect for creating my own little kits. I also found these pre-filled alcohol swabs, which are a really neat item. I also thought that these Hall's mini cough drops were a really good deal for $1.25. I didn't really find anything new and exciting in the electronics area of my store, except the fact that the prices are raised up to $1.50 here in this area. I did take a swing through the Dollar Tree Plus aisle of the store, though, and I found some things here. I found this cordless, rechargeable misting fan that might be nice to have for summer power outages if you live where it's really hot. I also found quite a few different battery-operated and solar lights that could be helpful during a grid down situation. Well, now I've got a pretty good cart full of new items, so I'm going to check out and head home and we can try some of these out. Here's my haul. Here's everything that I brought home with me from the store. And I am going to start by testing a few of these items and telling you what I think of them. And I'm going to start with these pasta dishes right here because I think if these are any good, this is going to be a really great find for Dollar Tree. I am going to do these in the microwave like it calls for, although in an emergency, you could definitely do these in a pan. I don't really want to dirty up an extra pan where I'm not in a power outage, so I'm just going to give these a try and see how they are. They do smell pretty decent. Once they're opened, I can smell them. They smell pretty good. All right, so here is what it looks like. This is a little more slimy looking than white looking on the sauce. These were a little bit stuck together. They smell pretty good, I will say that. Now I'm going to give them a try and see how they taste. All right, let's give them a try and see how it is. I'm going to try the Alfredo first. It's okay. It's definitely edible. It's kind of tastes good at first. It's got a little bit of a, maybe like a bitter aftertaste, slightly. I don't know. It's not that bad. I could definitely eat that. I should see if my kids like it because I'm really thinking kids with these pasta meals. This would be great for like teenagers, older kids that just want to fix a really quick meal. The marinara is not bad. That's decent. I think my kids would like that. If I had to pick between the two, I think the marinara is a little bit better, which I think my instinct would be that we would like the Alfredo better, but it's okay. It's definitely edible. I definitely wouldn't, they're not like, ooh, I could eat that if I really had to. They're just, the marinara one is not bad. The Alfredo is okay. It's not fantastic, but it's not bad. I'm going to definitely have my kids try those and see what they think. All right. So I've got probably my pickiest kid here, my youngest daughter, and she's going to try these. All right, Kennedy, maybe try my favorite was this one. Try the Alfredo first and see what you think.
It's good.
Yeah? You'd eat that? Mm-hmm. Okay, awesome. Try the red one now. No?
I don't like it.
You don't like the red one? I like that one better. Doesn't taste like spaghetti to you?
I don't like spaghetti.
Oh. Okay. All right, thanks, honey. All right, so you can see, actually, they're probably not that bad because she liked this one that I'm a little iffy about, and she's picky. Apparently, she's not a fan of red sauce. So I would say altogether, these are going to be worth having in the pantry. I wish you could have seen her face when she was trying this. There was no sounds, but there was a face. I brought these out for Mr. Wicked Prepared to try also, and he actually also voted for the Alfredo. He said that was really good. He said they're both fine, but this one he thought had less flavor. So I guess it goes to show they're decent, and it's just kind of a matter of personal preference. I did just want to mention that what I had on the plate was not everything that was in the pouch. I just put out a portion of it so that we could taste it. So there is a pretty decent portion in these. Each one is a single serving, and it's really an all-in-one meal. So I think they're great for emergencies. Like I mentioned, you could eat them without heating if you had to. They'd be better heated, but you could eat them without heating. You could heat them really, really quickly in a pan, or even putting the pouch into a pan of warmer simmering water would heat these. So lots of different options, a great all-in-one meal, and I think a really good thing to have on the shelf. It looks like they do have about a 1.5 years stated, shelf life, their best by date. I'm sure they're going to be good for longer after that, but I think something that you can have on the shelf for 1.5 years to 2 years for sure is a good amount of time. And then you can rotate them after that, either donate them before they expire or just take them out and eat them for lunch or something and replace them with something new. Up next, I've got my kettle on because I want to try this protein oatmeal. And I also want to try these couple of drink mixes, the chai tea and the caramel latte. All right, so I'm going to check out the oatmeal while this is boiling. I have done one of these before, the banana flavor that I found last time. I do love that they come with their own little spoon. It's 2 pouches, so there is I think this is the oatmeal pouch, and this is like flavoring and other items. Empty the pouch of oats and flavor mix into the bowl, boiling water up to the marked line, and then mix it for 10 seconds, cover for 3 minutes. Okay. I think this is not the oats. This is the seasoning. And here is the oats. I'm just going to give this a little mix. Now, this is what I liked about this last time. You can see it's got things like pumpkin seeds. There's sunflower seeds. I saw a piece of almond in here. I like that they have all these bits of nuts and seeds and yummy stuff. Right, so there's up to the line. It smells really good. Very cinnamony. I'm going to give it a stir. It says stir for 10 seconds. Making sure I get into the corners. Oh, it's hot on the outside. So this is how it looks before it sets. Put the lid on and let it set 10 minutes. And now I want to try these 2 out. So this is 8 ounces of water for the chai latte. And this is 100 milliliters, 180 milliliters. So this just says 180 milliliters of water. So let's see how much that is. So that's going to be just over this line right here. All right, let's see. We've got 2 cups that aren't too big because this one is 8 ounces and that one is probably less than 8 ounces. So here's the packet of chai tea. I'm going to go ahead and dump that in this cup. It smells really good. I am going to measure the water for this just to make sure that I get the right amount so that I can judge the flavor accurately. All right, so I've got 8 ounces of water in here. I've got each their own little spoons. I'm going to give this a stir. This smells really, really good. Now I'm going to go ahead and put the latte powder in here and do my best to measure 180 milliliters of water. I think that looks pretty good. That smells good too. All right, I've got the chai first. I'm going to try this one first. That has a really good flavor. I think as it's mixed with 8 ounces of water, it's a little bit weak for me. I think I would either do a little less water or do 2 packets and not quite twice as much water, maybe 1.5 times. Very tasty, but could be stronger. Now I'm going to try the caramel latte. That's good. That's got a stronger coffee flavor. It's not as sweet. It's a little sweet. It has a pretty good flavor. I think this one's not too weak. I did call for a little less water. So that is pretty good. I think I'm going to wait a minute for the sweetness of the chai to get out of my mouth. And then I'm going to try this one more time. All right, I'm back. That is pretty good. It's not too sweet, which I like. It is sweet. It's better than just black coffee. It's sweet, it's creamy, it's got everything you need. It's pretty decent. I will say, don't look at the ingredients. If you're an ingredients person, it has some pretty wretched ingredients. But for an emergency, if you just want to have something tucked away, you get, I think, 6 of these pouches. 5 pouches for $1.25. I think it's not a bad thing to have on hand for emergencies. Keep one in your bug out bag, keep one in your vehicle, any place you might want a hot, sweet and creamy beverage in an emergency. I did have Miss Picky try each of these, and she thought they were both good and took what was left of them back to her room to finish. So she gives these a passing grade as well. If you want to check out the difference in the ingredients, the one on the left is the chai tea, and the one on the right is the latte. So I think the chai tea wins there for sure. All right, so it's been longer than 10 minutes. So now I can give this a stir. You can see how much this thickened. This got really thick. I do like my oatmeal thick, so this is good for me, but I think if you are not loving it so thick, you could even add more water. So let's give this a try. Ooh, that's really good. Not too sweet. I taste mostly the apple and cinnamon. I don't know that I really taste the strawberry. It says strawberry, apple, cinnamon. It's really, really tasty though. These protein oatmeals are really good. This is the second flavor I found at Dollar Tree. 310 calories. It's got 17 grams of fiber, 10 grams of protein, and it's tasty, and it's not super sweet. Only 5 grams of added sugar. And this would be, I think this would be a hearty and filling breakfast. So all I needed was boiling water. So this is a really good emergency thing to have on hand, I think. Of course, if you think about it, it's kind of a lot of money to pay $1.25 for one serving of breakfast, but it is tasty and it does have all the extra protein. It has all the other goodness added with the nuts and seeds. So, you know, you might think it's worth it. Next, I want to try mixing up these soup mixes, at least the chicken noodle. Maybe I will do the tomato macaroni, but I'm going to start with the chicken noodle, see how this is. But before I do that, I do want to mix up these apple cider muffins and see how these are. So I'm going to get these mixed and baking before I start the soup. Now I'm assuming that these are kind of like apple cider donuts along those lines where they don't actually taste like apple cider. They're just like a donut that they make at the cider houses in the fall, and they just taste really good, but they don't taste like cider. So I'm assuming this is kind of a takeoff on that. So we'll see if it's like that or if it actually has an apple cider flavor. I am going to mix up 2 of these just because I don't want to do just one. All right, so these are just add milk, and they need a 1/2 cup of milk per bag. Actually does kind of smell like apples. So maybe it is actually apple cider flavored. All right, 1 cup of milk. All right, it says mix just until moistened. So I would say that is just moistened. All right, I'm going to do this in my mini brownie bites pan because we love mini muffins in this pan. All right, looks like one of those mixes actually made more than I thought it would. So I'm going to see if I can fill up this toaster oven pan with the rest of the mix. Well, it looks like I just can't win today. I've got too much batter for this pan, not enough to fill this pan. So I'm just going to put a little bit of water into each of the empty muffin wells. That Helps keep the pan from overheating in the empty spots, and it creates a nice moist environment for what's baking in the oven. So I'm going to go ahead and put these in, and then while these are baking, I'm going to work on the soups. All right, so I'm going to do this on my butane emergency stove. And 1 packet of this soup calls for 4.5 cups of water. It says put it into the cold water, bring it up to a boil, cook it for about 5 minutes. All right, so here's my 4.5 cups of water and my package of soup mix. All right, I'm going to get the heat on this. It does not say whether to cook it covered or uncovered, so I'm assuming that means uncovered. All right, I can tell that this had some kind of a thickener in it. You could kind of tell when I first stirred it, and it had that sort of white kind of creaminess that sort of bloomed through it. You could tell that was some sort of a thickener that was spreading throughout the liquid. And now that it's about to boil, I can just see that it has thickened up, which I actually think is good because I don't like a very thin, watery soup. I like it to have a little bit of thickness to the broth, which the pasta could also do that, the starch from the pasta, but this is definitely from another ingredient. So it's boiling, so I'm going to turn it way down. It says to simmer it on low heat for 5 minutes. Here is our first batch of the muffins, the smaller ones. These are done. All right, so it's been 5 minutes. This is supposed to be done. The pasta is very, very teeny and difficult to find, but I guess I'm going to test a pasta because that would be what needs to be done. There is the pasta after cooking for 5 minutes. And turn that off. The pasta is definitely tender. You can kind of see the pasta's in there. There's not a whole lot of substance to this soup. There is pasta in there, but all right, I'm going to let this cool a little bit, and then I'm going to give it a taste test. I didn't even use any pan spray on this. I hate how that tends to leave a film after a while, and you can tell they come out pretty well even without it on this nonstick pan. So here is one of those little muffins. My daughter has given her seal of approval. Pretty tasty. It does have a little bit of an apple flavor. Not a whole lot. They're good though. Maybe a tiny bit dry. All right, so this has had a little bit of time to cool off. I think the pastas have continued to grow by absorbing some of the liquid. So this isn't looking too bad now. I'm going to go ahead and dish some of this out and give it a try. All right, here is the chicken and noodle soup, chicken flavored noodle soup. It does look pretty thick. It's nice and thick, and it has a good amount of noodles now that they've kind of cooked and sat. Little bits of carrots. I don't believe there's real chicken in here. There's like a soy protein type of thing to stand in for the chicken. Let's give it a taste. Okay, I'm going to give it a try. It doesn't taste bad. It tastes pretty good. It's got enough flavor. It's just not very substantial. I think this would be a good base. I mean, I think for somebody hungry, this would definitely suffice, but I think it would be a good base. I think if you took like a dollar store can of chicken and use the broth from that can as part of your liquid, put the can of chicken in, and maybe some vegetables. I don't think it needs a whole can of vegetables. I think that would be a lot for a much soup. But if you took like the little individual serving cups that they sell at Dollar Tree, maybe 1 or 2 of those, and added them to the soup, I think then you'd have a pretty good, substantial, hearty soup. It's not bad tasting. It's just, there's not much to it, but it tastes decent. Next, I'm going to try the tomato macaroni soup. Tomato and elbows. We'll see how this one is. Once again, like the other one, it says it makes 4 servings and uses 4.5 cups of water. Interesting. I wonder if it's whole wheat macaroni. It is not whole wheat. It says it is toasted, so the pasta is pre-toasted. That's interesting. All right, I'm going to get this on the heat. Just like the other one, not a whole lot of substance to what's in the package, and I will say with the chicken soup, and probably this one too, it says 4 servings, but they wouldn't be very hearty servings. So, but that's the same with just about any food. Usually we eat a little bit more than what the serving size is suggesting. All right, now that this is simmering, it's supposed to simmer for 10 minutes for this one. This doesn't seem to have as much of a thickening agent in it as the chicken noodle soup did, because It did not thicken up the way that that one did, just like what a gravy would with cornstarch. So this is probably going to end up being a little bit brothier and less thick. All right, it has been 10 minutes, which is how long this soup said it needed to simmer. So I'm going to see if the macaroni is tender. All right, yeah, the macaroni tastes tender. Once again, this soup doesn't look very substantial. I'm going to go ahead and turn it off and let it cool, just like I did with the other one, because that does help the noodles just sort of thicken up a little bit. They get a little bit softer, and it sort of thickens the soup a little bit. And it's also just too hot to eat. So I'm going to let this cool for 10 minutes or so and then give it a try. All right, this soup has cooled off a little bit. You can see it's ready to serve. It's not as thick as the other chicken noodle soup ended up being. And this one's just macaroni and a tomato broth. So I'm going to give it a try and see how it tastes. All right, let's give this soup a try. It's okay. You can taste the toastedness of the macaroni. The broth is pretty flavorful. I mean, this is a little bit brothier because it's not as thick as the chicken noodle, but it's got a good flavor. Once again, like the chicken, it's not very substantial. It's literally just tomato broth and macaroni. So you could always play with it and add some meat, some veggies, but you know what? This is probably how it's supposed to be, and it is tasty. Has a good flavor. So for $1.25, it's probably not a bad item to have in your pantry. It would be good for like a sick day. The next thing I want to taste test is these Yellowstone baked beans. I'm just going to heat these up in the microwave because I don't want to dirty another pot, but I'm going to give these a try and see how they are. See if they're worth buying at Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree has a much better price on this brand of beans, but if you don't mind store brands, the Great Value brand of baked beans in this same size can is still only $1.12. So this would really only be a good buy if you like this brand enough to pay a little bit more for it. One thing I did notice when I was looking around to compare prices on these is that there was a recall on these exact baked beans. So for a minute I thought, great, Dollar Tree has the recalled beans, but no, the recall was on some with the best by date of February something, 2028. I believe these have a best by date in June, so they're not the same batch that was recalled. It was just a recall for an unlabeled allergen of soy, so wouldn't be a big deal to me, but to somebody with a soy allergy, it could be a very big deal. So, but these were not affected by the recall. All right, here are the Yellowstone beans, all heated up. They look like beans. The one thing I noticed is it looks like there might be a couple of different kinds of beans in here, at least two, because I saw a couple of beans that were different colored. So I thought that was interesting. All right, I'm going to give them a try. They're pretty good. They taste like baked beans. They're not as strongly sweetly flavored as I kind of thought from the name. They're decent. They're like your basic baked beans, I think. Nothing real special about them. So I would say, like I said, you can get Great Value a little bit cheaper. So if you happen to be able to get to a Walmart, they would probably be just as good beans, but these are cheaper probably than a lot of the other brands. These ones at Dollar Tree for $1.25. So they're definitely not bad. You could definitely pick these up and add them to your pantry. One more thing I did really want to try out of the foods is this cheddar cheesy noodle soup from Campbell's. I just am curious. I saw this and I saw actually a lot of new flavors recently, but when I found this one at Dollar Tree, I had to grab it. I just want to see what it's like. I just can't really picture. I know it's aimed at kids, but I'm going to just see what it's like. All right, so it basically looks like their cheddar cheese soup right off the bat. Let's see if this is supposed to use milk or water. Mix soup with 1 can of milk. All right, let's see. I'm just going to microwave this right in a bowl. Okay. So this is starting to make sense to me. This looks like macaroni noodles. Well, maybe not. Maybe it's like rotini noodle. I was picturing like chicken noodle mashed up with cheddar cheese. But I'm thinking this is probably going to be supposed to appeal to the kids who like their mac and cheese. So I thought it was macaroni noodles. We'll see. I'm going to add my soup can of milk. I had overdone that just a bit. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get this heating in the microwave because I think that will help it blend up a little bit better. It's gotta be warm enough, so it's definitely looking more blended and cheesy. Still cannot figure out for the life of me what kind of noodles these are supposed to be. All right, I am gonna give this cheesy cheddar cheesy noodle soup a try. We will see how this is. Well, I think I went a little bit overboard with the milk. There's not a whole lot of cheese flavor. I mean, it looks cheesy, but it's not super cheesy tasting. It's kind of milky tasting. It did say for thicker soup, use less milk, and I probably should have used a little less. I think I used a little too much. I filled my can really full. I just went overboard. Well, it wouldn't be my favorite soup, that's for sure. Maybe kids would like this. It probably depends on the kid. I don't think any of my kids would really eat this, but you never know. And you know, my thing with Campbell's soups is I like the ones you can use in recipes, and I'm not really getting any recipe inspiration from this, but so this is interesting, but I just wanted to see what it was like. And now I've seen, and I probably won't be buying any more of it, but anyways. So the verdict on the soups and the muffins and that Campbell's soup was muffins were a big hit with the family. Mr. Wicked Prepared thought this was pretty good. This was not bad too. Like I said, for $1.25, they're both kind of a decent basic soup mix. The cheddar cheesy noodle soup, not a huge hit here. Mr. Wicked Prepared said it best. He said, oh, it's kind of more of a chowder than a cheesy soup, which is probably my fault for adding too much milk. But I don't know. So that was kind of a weird one. But these, especially the muffins, these were a big hit. That's all the food items I'm going to try today. I've got a couple other things I am going to try. These would need to go in a recipe, which is why I'm not trying these. But I did go to this brand's website, and they actually had a few recipes, including like an enchilada recipe that used these petite diced green tomatoes. So if you pick these up at Dollar Tree, check out their website for some ideas. I have used these before, not from Dollar Tree, but I've used these before in some of my single serve meals in a bag for one. So I'll try to remember to link that down below in case you want to see these in action. These I had I had bought some more of these, and I had my picky daughter try these, and she actually really liked these. In fact, she was asking when I was going to be done with these bottles so she could have these as well. So these are definitely something that's pretty good. Like I said, they've got the calcium and the protein like a milk would have, but they don't have the live active cultures of a yogurt because it's pasteurized after culturing. I mean, they were in there, but I can't believe they would survive that. So, and of course, but these could be a good sort of shelf-stable flavored milk sort of drink. And some of these other items I did use in my most recent Dollar Tree meals in a bag video. If you want to check that out, I'll also link that down below. I did want to check out this little first aid kit real quick just to see like what's inside of it. Like I said, ooh, I didn't even see this. So I just like the design. It's a cute little tin. You could do a survival kit, like an Altoid survival kit in one of these, but I think a little mini first aid kit you could do beyond what's in here. This just contains a whole bunch of bandages, and they just put it in. And honestly, I guess it's all the same bandage. Yeah, okay. If I had read, I would have seen it's 30 same size bandages. So it's just 30 Band-Aids. I just really like the tin that they came in. So I did pick up 4 of these so that I can make a few first aid kits, little mini first aid kits for my kids for their backpacks. I have done it before in plastic little white boxes, and then I just created the Red Cross symbol on it out of red duct tape. But I think these would be really cute to use, and they would also make good stocking stuffers. The only other thing I did pick up that I've got up here, I didn't show them in the store. These are not new. They've had these at Dollar Tree for quite some time. I don't know what size these jars are. I have seen people make like a gift in a jar, like maybe a cookie mix in a jar, in one of these jars. Of course, if you look at the lid, I guess they have a little bit of a plastic. I don't think they're very airtight, so I personally wouldn't use them for a food item. I guess for a gift in a jar, they're going to be used pretty quickly, the hope would be, not sit on the shelf for a long time. But I'll show you what I use these for. It might be something that you hadn't really thought of because they are a little bit wider than a mason jar. I like to use these wide mouth, this is a 1/2 pint and this is a 1.5 pints to keep some extra. These are regular mouth lids and bands because most of them are stored in the basement, but I do like to have some just up here near the kitchen. So these will fit, these are wide mouth jars, so they will fit the narrow mouth lids and bands, but I don't have a jar to fit the wide mouth. So these will fit the wide mouth down in them so that I can keep these on hand up here with these other jars. So that's just what I use these for. There's lots of other things you could use these for, but that's what I use them for. I hope you enjoyed this look at the new preps that I found at Dollar Tree. Remember, things aren't always a better deal just because they're at Dollar Tree, but it sure can be fun to look for the hidden gems and great deals. Tell me, was there ever a time that you said, I can't believe I found this at Dollar Tree? Last week, I put out a new Dollar Tree meal in a bag video, and we've had so many people requesting printable recipe cards for those, just like the ones that we do for my meals in a jar. Well, you asked and we listened. So Mr. Wicked Prepared has been hard at work creating printables for those recipes. If you'd like to get a copy of those when they're ready, text BAGS to my number that I'll put on the screen, as well as in the video description and the pinned comment. I'll put you on my list and I will text those to you as soon as they're ready. Now that we've got a template, we can also go back and create similar printables for all the meal in a bag recipes that I've done over the years. And I'll be sure to send those to you as I get them done as well. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, leave me a green heart down in the comments. And if you're looking for more Dollar Tree inspiration, I'll put the playlist with all of my Dollar Tree meals in a bag right up here for you to watch next. I'm Jara with Wicked Prepared. Survive today, thrive tomorrow. We'll see you next time.